Hey everyone! Today I am back doing another video. This video is going to be my foundation routine. I have been wanting to film this video for so long, and I actually did film it like a couple years ago probably, but I never ended up uploading it because like my skin and specifically my lips, they looked so bad. They were so chapped and it was so distracting like the entire time I was editing it. Like I could not get over how like disgusting my skin and my lips looked. Like I was like full on Linda Blair in The Exorcist. Like that is how my lips looked. It was just so bad. I could not upload it, and I always planned on refilming it for you guys, and I never got around to it until now. This is a long awaited video, and I really hope you all are excited to see this video or enjoy this video because it has been a long time coming, a long process as well, already filming it and editing it and then completely trashing it, and now I'm refilming it for you guys. So yeah, in this video I'm not only going to be showing you like my foundation routine, it's basically going to be like my whole face routine, starting from the very beginning like with my moisturizer until the very end with my powder and everything like that. So I'm going to stop talking for now and let's go ahead and get on with the video. So if you would like to see my foundation routine, just keep on watching. Alright, so one of the first things I do in my foundation routine, or basically my full face routine, is I apply some moisturizer. The moisturizer I use is this one right here. This is the Olay Complete All Day Moisturizer, and it has an SPF of 15 in it. So I can just show you a little bit of a close-up what it looks like. And I usually let that sit in on my skin, so kind of let it soak in and everything like that for a few minutes, and then I will go in with a primer. So the face primer I use is this one right here. This is by Maybelline, and this is their Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. And there's a little bit of a close-up of the bottle so you can see what the packaging looks like and all of that. Alright, so now we have our primer applied, and as you can see from the previous clip, I just apply the primer all over my face, and I kind of do the same thing like with the moisturizer. I just let the primer set on my face for just a few minutes. And now the next thing we're going to go into before we apply the foundation is concealer. I have two different kinds of concealers by different brands. I have one concealer that I apply under my eyes and any other places that may need it before I apply my foundation. And then I have a other concealer, or a second concealer that I apply after my foundation is already applied. So the concealer that I use before my foundation is this one right here, and this is by Maybelline, and this is their Instant Age Rewind Eraser. So here's just a little bit of a close-up of this concealer. Sorry, it's kind of worn off on the labeling, but that's just what this product looks like. And I believe it's for dark circles, and I have mine in the brightest shade, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's in the shade Brightener. So I like to apply this before my foundation, just because I find if I apply this after my foundation, like it kind of just gives like almost like a white tint because this is a brightener and it's so light. So I just like to apply it before my foundation, especially under my eyes, because as you can see, I have very dark circles, and it just kind of brightens everything up. And then when I apply my foundation, my other concealer that's a little bit more closer to my skin tone over top, it doesn't give like that like white casting appearance. And because I don't really have any sort of blemishes on my face, I'm just gonna apply this concealer under my eyes. And as you can see up here, this product does have a sponge applicator, and you basically just twist this to get the concealer part up into the sponge, and then you can just kind of dab it or rub it in. I don't really like to blend in using this sponge. I'll usually go in with my beauty blender, so I'll just apply the product obviously with the sponge applicator that it already comes with, and then I will completely blend it out with my beauty blender. So now we have that applied and blended out, and something I forgot to mention but you would already saw in the previous clip is I go in like a triangle shape, so I don't just cover my dark circles, I go down a little bit, kind of like where the you know, bottom creases of my nose are, and then I go outwards to like the outer corners of my eyes, and I just do that for like extra coverage and extra brightening and things like that. All right, and now we're gonna move on to the foundation. Now, me personally, I have a couple different foundations that I like to use. I obviously don't use them together, but it just kind of depends on my mood that day or what kind of look I'm going for. So the first foundation that I like to use is this one right here. So you can just kind of see the close-up. You've definitely seen this foundation before in my videos. And this foundation is by Rimmel London. It's the Stay Matte Liquid Mousse Foundation. And this foundation, I really like to use it more in the winter times because this foundation is a little bit lighter than the other foundation that I'm going to show you guys in a second. So I usually will use this more in the winter time, like if I'm going out, doing something with like my family or friends or my fiance or anything like that. And this foundation also is like a heavier foundation, and it has like a heavier coverage, I guess you could say. And then the other foundation that I have that I like to use is this one right here. That's just what the packaging looks like. And as you can see, it is by CoverGirl, and this is the Ready Set Gorgeous oil-free foundation. And I like this foundation because it's just really quick and easy to apply. It's kind of like a liquid foundation, and it's not as like heavy. I think it has really good coverage, but it's not as heavy as the Rimmel London one, if that makes any sense. And this one is just like a tiny bit darker. I feel like it still matches my like natural skin tone, but I just feel like this one's a little bit darker that I like to use in the summertime when I have a little bit of a tan. And this is the foundation that I've been using the most just because it's like very quick and easy to apply, and it's not so heavy on the skin. So like if I'm just going to class or if I'm running some errands, I'll usually just apply this really quick. Like I said, with this one, I apply it like when I'm actually gonna like go out on the town or go out to dinner or something like that, and I want to do like a really full face of makeup. That's just my thinking on these foundations, and I really like both of them, so I just keep them both in my makeup bag. And like I said, it also just depends on my mood. If I feel like wearing this foundation, I'll just wear this one. Then again, if I feel like wearing this foundation, I'll just wear this one. And so today I feel like wearing this one, so this is the one we're going to be applying in this video today. And also another thing that I like to do, depending on which foundation that I'm applying, I like to apply them in different ways. So if I'm going to be applying this Rimmel London one, I like to go in with my beauty blender. I just feel like my beauty blender does a better job at blending out or blending in this foundation compared to like a foundation brush. But then again, if I'm going to be using this foundation, I'll usually go in with my foundation brush, my little like flat top brush. I just feel like this one, it's just a lot quicker to use compared to my beauty blender. Obviously the beauty blender works in blending out this foundation, but I don't know, I just like using this brush with this foundation. Like I just feel like it goes a lot quicker, and this brush, it blends out this foundation just as beautifully as the beauty blender. So obviously in this video, since we're going to be applying the CoverGirl foundation, I'm going to be applying it using this brush. Alright, so now we have the foundation all applied, and like you saw in the previous clip when I was applying it, I usually go in with like a stippling motion around my face, and then I'll kind of just lightly swirl the foundation in place just to make sure it's really blended. I don't always like really go in and swirl with my brush, especially like really hard. If I do, it's very light because I have very dry skin. And if you're someone that has dry skin, and if you're gonna go in like really hard on your brush and just kind of, you know, go in like circular motions, blending in like whether it's your powders or your foundations or anything like that, that's just gonna kind of flake up all of that dry skin, if that makes any sense. But I just do it very slightly after I stipple it in to make sure everything is really blended out evenly and flawlessly. And now before I move on to applying like the rest of my concealers and powders and everything like that, I just kind of take my mirror and look over my face really well, make sure everything looks even, if I need to apply a little bit more foundation any places. So I think we will move on to applying our next product, which is our second concealer. So the second concealer I like to use is this one right here. As you can see, this is another product that you've seen before in my other makeup related videos, and this is by Physicians Formula, and this is their Conceal RX Physicians Strength Concealer. So I'll just take this concealer and apply it the same way that we applied the first concealer. The only difference is I'm applying this over my foundation and not under it. So I'm gonna squeeze a good amount. I have to really squeeze because I'm almost out of this stuff, but I just get a good amount on my finger. I'll probably just use the viewfinder as my mirror right now, but I'll just get like about the same amount of product on each of my fingers, and then I will just go in, look upwards, and just kind of start patting it in with my fingers to begin with. And then obviously we'll go in with our beauty blender to blend it out from there. Alright, so now all of our foundations and concealers are applied, so the last thing to do is to apply our powder. The powder I like to use is this one right here. Here's the packaging, even though like the writing and the label is completely rubbed off, but this is the Rimmel London Stay Matte long-lasting pressed powder. I believe that's what the name of it is. And I'll obviously just take this and apply it all over the face. Any places that we applied concealer and foundation, but the first thing I'm going to set is my under eyes so there's no creasing. So before I go in with the powder, I'm going to take my beauty blender one more time, look upwards, and just kind of blend right under my eyes to get rid of any creases, because we don't want to set the creases in. So once we get all those creases out, I'm just going to take my beauty blender, pick up a little bit of powder, and press it under the eyes. Now, most of the time I like to use my beauty blender to apply the powder like right underneath my eyes. I just feel like it sets the powder in really well under the eye, so there's not that much creasing. But I also have this smaller brush. I believe this is a foundation brush, but I like to use it to apply my powder. I don't use this to apply the powder all over my face because I feel like that would take forever. And I feel like it would come out very cakey, but I like to use this for under my eyes, like basically in this whole triangle area where we applied all the concealer. And then I also like to use a smaller brush to go around on my nose as well to apply the powder. And I'll also go in with some powder on my eyelids. And now to apply the powder on the rest of my face and a little bit on my neck, I will go in with this big fluffy brush that I believe is from BH Cosmetics. And I'll just kind of swirl it in the product and start stippling it onto my face. Because like I said previously in this video, you don't want to like really like get in there and start swirling it if you have dry skin, because that's just going to cause your skin to flake. Now when I apply my powder to the rest of my face, or basically my entire face, I kind of apply it the same way I apply my foundation. If I'm applying my foundation with a brush, I'll go in, stipple it in, and then at the very end I'll just very lightly swirl it in to make sure everything is covered and set. Alright everybody, so that is it for my foundation routine. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you would like to see any other makeup specific videos like makeup tutorials or makeup routines, sort of like this video, please make sure to let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, once again, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'm gonna get going for now, but I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.